I think I got all my notes set. Let's see. Okay, so Sterzz, you're watching this video. I'm gonna start it off with something that you already know. You already broke the habit for the most part. I only saw it once, but you already know what I'm about to say. Hey, bad one from the top of the screen. We gotta cut that. We gotta cut that. It's too risky. If it's risky like this, just imagine how it is from up here. You can look at that and be like, okay, I'm about to stand block. And then I'm gonna punish you. So you have been using pin in these ranges where like you do want to use it. Like I mentioned, I know you want to use it because it's kind of like a dive kick to you. It lets you like traverse down slowly. So if they tried to anti-air you, then you hit them. Like if they go like, But if you do that, it kind of delays the fall. Which is okay, but it's just like on paper, it does that. However, if they don't anti-air, you die. I don't know if the trade-off's good in that sense. When you can take no risk and just throw pin if you think they're going to do that. So, like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure you already know that. It might have just been like a habit thing. You only did it once out of like the 10, 12, 13 videos I saw. So, just remember, try to break that habit. Just erase it from your mind. Don't do it. Just cut it. Another thing I saw were your setups. Some of them were okay. When you get to the corner, you seem a bit more comfortable, but mid-screen, a lot of the time you'll just do this. Oops. Something like that, which is okay to an extent, but you need to mix it up. If you realize that you set the disc late, you need to go for meaties. Go for 2K. If you're really close, then the only thing that you can do is either backdash or jump. But the issue with jumping or doing that is you give them a chance to retaliate. Since you've already set the disc late, I'm gonna have to record Amelia. This would be a lot easier to explain. No one has done it to you at the matches I saw, but if you were playing someone that is more aware of your timing, they would punish you every time you air dash over them because you shouldn't be able to do that at all. You would get air thrown like that, right? You would just get air thrown, but they don't try that. Most of them just try to throw you because you're close. So they get hit, and it benefits you, which is okay. But you need to recognize that if you are in this type of situation where you set it late, jumping can actually put you at a position where you can get hit. So sometimes some melee players will do this if they do notice to prevent getting air thrown. They'll jump with a button, so it stuffs them as they're jumping. Oh, that was a bad recording. I'm glad I don't play Milia. This should be okay, I guess. You see how he jumped? I tried to air throw right there, but your jump cake kept me in check, so it put me back into the disc. So you could do that if you feel like you need to jump because you're so close. That does help a bit. DPs may still hit you depending on where you're positioned though, so be careful on that. You could also just set the disc and backdash. Oops. Just like that. They should still be able to jump, but at least you're not putting yourself at too much risk. If you backdash and they press a button, you should be able to block that button that they press. It's gonna kill the disc though. Like that. You'll probably see that a lot too. So just try and choose depending on your opponent. If you're really close and you have to decide, the jump K option is really good. It'll stop people from trying to air throw you. But if they're just throwing on the ground, then just do the air dash. For the most part, you really want to try and clean it up. If you if you can, like, sometimes you're going to have that accident where you are too close. Do what I just said. But if you can clean it up, do so. Try and set it outside of his throw range so that you can meaty. And you can tell that you're meeting when you do these setups. If the life doesn't regenerate, when he's waking up right here, notice that his health doesn't regenerate until he's not being touched anymore. If I hold up here, I'm going to get hit because I cannot act yet. If you see the health go up, then I'm able to act. I should be able to do something there. Let me show you. I'm going to just hold up right here. I got hit. You cannot jump there. However, let's do another recording, similar to the one that we just... Oh, this is fine too. You see how the health went up? This lets you know that they can act. You've been too slow. I can jump this time. So just try and, like, when you're training moding these setups, try and look at the health when you do them, while you're practicing, to make sure that they're really clean and meaty, so that they can't do anything. 2K is really good also against Kai. As like a side note, if he does do DP, you should be able to bait the DP with this. I think you know this as well. I don't think you can do it point blank though. Like from this spacing, it'd probably be okay. Or the recording we had before. But yeah, 2K is fine. 2D should work as well, as long as it's spaced. 2S will work. The DP doesn't hit that low to the ground, so you can always low profile it. I only mention that because I saw you playing against a Kai a lot, and he got away with a lot of DPs. Besides that, however, you should just look at setups in general. There's a lot of times in the corner where your setups are okay, but there's also times where you don't pick up the pin, and you sacrifice mix-up to pick up the pin. Nakamura and even Sharon both have setups that let you pick up the pin as soon as you land and go for your high-low mix-up, or even throw. So try and implement those. Try to get them down pat, because it'll clean up your Okizeme. Same for the mid-screen as well. Try to get some more options in there. And don't be afraid to meaty. Just try to make sure you can clean up your movement so you're not always standing right on top of them, forcing you to like jump over them and all that crap. Because it's not the best mix-up. This isn't usually going to hit people. It doesn't usually hit people. Outside of setups like Okizeme and bad move from the top of the screen, managing meter is very important. So like the neutral game, I'm going to talk about neutral for a bit. The neutral, you play very aggressive, and it shows through either your meter, your bursting, and how you engage on your opponent. Usually when you engage on your opponent, I see you... Well, let me remove this virtual stick. We don't need this. Usually when you come in on your opponent, you usually don't approach on the ground at all. And I'm not saying to just run directly at them to where you're on top to get a combo. Sometimes you just have to be okay with getting straight hits. Straight hits add up to kill them anyways. Even though it's like not a lot of damage right there, that's fine. These hits will make them scared to try and do stuff in the spaces where you hit them. So like if you're just moving, oh. If you've watched Lord Knight, you would see him do this a lot. He does this a shit ton. I'm pretty sure you could ask anybody that's seen LK. He always does this because he's just trying to play the ground game. It's really viable with this character. Her mobility is really fast, so you don't always have to opt for things like jumping in. This is something that you really like to do, which is not bad by any means. But if this is like your only means of approach generally, then you should be getting anti-aired. Luckily for you, they don't really anti-air you or even try to air throw you. So you got away with this a lot. But if you play against someone that is a bit more understanding of how you're playing, you would probably lose a lot more games just because of how you approach your opponents. So just try to approach more on the ground. Don't approach scared. I feel like sometimes when you do approach on the ground, like when I do see you actually coming from the ground, you only do it when you have meter. So you'll do like S to square C. But you'll do it at spacings where you're not even at the opponent yet. You're just trying to slow down the screen and see what's going on before you get there. It shouldn't be like that. you should not be that afraid to engage, and let alone spin meter for you to recognize whether or not they're pressing something. You should be able to use your movement alone to figure that stuff out so that you're not wasting a resource. She has FT stop. It's like run up and wait just to see if they press something. You could do dash 5P. You see a lot of Amelias do that just so that they don't mess with their tension pulse. Like if you use this, you see how the meter goes down for a second. It's on infinite right now, but you can see that it goes to red. FD breaking makes you lose a little bit of like tension. But if you do this to halt your momentum, then you save a bit of it. Like you don't waste any at all. The only downfall is you can get whiff punished if they do poke. Depending on what poke they use or if it's a fireball, you might get hit. But a lot of the times it actually beats pokes anyways. So it's pretty viable. It's just like a check essentially. You can just see if they're going to press anything. Oh, if they don't press anything, maybe you can move in pretty cleanly. If they are pressing stuff, stay around this range. Wait till they press it again. When they do press it, then you get in. Because once they press buttons, people have to recover. Any character in this game has that. They have recovery. If they whiff their button, they have to wait till the button comes back in till they can block. So if you see a Kai player and he's just like sitting there, like you're running in at him and he's doing far slash and keeping you out, and you're doing this instead to like see if he's gonna press it, by the time you get there it's gonna be whack, and you wasted 25 meter. So why not just do this instead? Just like halt your spacing. You have to recognize this is very important to this as well. Even though like this concept you may understand it, you need to recognize the character's spacing's potential. So like far slash, it goes about this far. So you need to like recognize that. You need to understand, is there any poke that he can press that goes further than this? No? Okay, this is maybe the range where I want to stay at. That way if he does press something, I don't get hit. So you want to like control your movement around this specific area. Try and stop around this area. And if it becomes something to where like you're always getting to this spot and he presses this button, that's good. That means you can whiff punish his ass. See how I just hit him there? You could just make your own advance by him trying to attack you. You could also use pin as well. You've been using that. But I feel like you don't necessarily use it for that reason. You usually use it aggressively. How I was mentioning earlier, you play pretty aggressively. That's how I see your play style. You mentioned you like rushdown as well, so it all makes sense. But you really need to try and just lay back a little bit. Watch your opponent. You don't always have to play aggressive. When you only play aggressive, it sets you up to get countered easily. Because you're not necessarily thinking about the opponent's options at that point. You're just thinking about how you're going to hit them. Rather than trying to capitalize off of how they're playing, you're just like, I need to get in, I need to mix them up, I need to beat them. Which is not the case. You can beat them in many other ways. But if you only play with one set mind, that's going to get picked up on eventually, and you're going to lose due to that. So try and slow it down every now and then. You can still play aggressive, just don't always lean on that. Try and play it slow. Play on the ground. See what they're doing. Oh, he's poking at me? You don't always have to do what I just showed you with the dash up far slash 5H. You can air dash in. You can throw a pin. All of those options are really good. Even if they block the pin, like let's say you were too slow on punishing the far slash, you're still plus. If they block that pin, which they're going to have to if they whip the button, you're in there. You're actually in. Now you can go ham. But before you get in, you need to like take it slow. Don't just, oh, I'm bulldozing in. Oh, I'm bulldozing in. Don't go too ham like that all the time. Slow it down sometimes because it will give you more advantages than you would think. Hold on, water break. Filter water's godlike. Okay. What else did I mention? Yeah, so play on the ground more. Playing airborne isn't necessarily bad, but you need to reduce it. Make sure your pins are not just for pressure, but as a way to whiff punish. So you can just jump around. Oh, you see the button? Got him. You know? Try and look at your opponent and react to them. Or try and make a read. Like Usually he presses this here. I'm going to do this instead next time because I know he's going to press this here. Let's see. Also for neutral, this is pretty useful. It also goes into block strings. I never really see you use 6H. Kind of ties to you just not really using all of your set to its fullest potential. You usually just do like this. I'm not sure if you even try to hit confirm it, but if you do this, you can get punished hard for this. No one punishes you for it, so you don't necessarily know. But you're in counter hit state. If they block that digitalis, the nail at the end, you're in counter hit state. So you could get blown up for just doing this. What would be Kai's punish? Like far slash. Something like this. Something like that. You get the idea. The damage can be really high. That was a baby combo, and that did like almost 50%. So you gotta be careful. Don't just throw that out. If you're gonna roll, Lust Shaker's pretty safe. But if they always press buttons and their defense is bad, Digitalis can be okay. Especially if you have 50 meter. If you have 50 meter, it's perfectly fine. Because if they block it, you can cancel it. You do like... and then set the disc. Stuff like that. Blade says, what if you land a counter hit? Then it would work. Would work from 6H? Yes. If you hit someone, it should be fine. But like if you commit to the Digitalis, like normal hit into Digitalis, it doesn't combo, right? So you can get punished. Oh, this is probably the real punish right here. Something like that. But you're in counter state, so just be careful. Don't always opt for that string. If you feel like you want to roll, go for Lust Shaker more. It's safe on block, plus even. So you might be able to capitalize depending on the spacing. But you never always have to cancel. So like, if they block 5H, just back up. You can backdash. You don't always have to roll in. Because once you roll in, then you commit to putting yourself at disadvantage. That's pretty much what you do every time you roll with this character. Unless it actually combos. Because if they instant block before you roll, anything you do off that roll will get hit. So like if you do this, let's see what Kai can do. See. But that's like a higher level thing. You would get punished a lot more for just going into roll every time if your opponents had better defense. But most of your opponents that you play against aren't too strong, so you're able to get away with some things, which is fine. Which is also probably why you're having issues recognizing where you're having issues, because they aren't able to capitalize on you as well. So you kind of have to play people that are better than you so that you can figure out what's good and what's bad. But you could also just lab your own character yourself and see what's good and bad. Try to beat whatever you do. Like what strings do you like doing? What mix-ups do you like going for? How could they be beat? Try and record them and play them back and see how you could defend and punish them. If they're punishable, figure out how and like make sure you remember that, because it's going to be very important to how you like apply them in a match. Yeah, just use more normals. 6H is a good normal. Remember, don't always roll cancel. You can just press this and then move after. I should mention why 6H is good though. 2 hits, last hits overhead. Jump cancelable. So you can do that. Stuff like that. You can pick the pin up, but I'm bad at it. Cut me some slack. You go like high, low off this even. Especially in the corner. It's pretty good. And you don't even have to use the pin. You could just air dash off of it. But yeah, 6H is a really good option. Not only for the cancels, I should also mention one other thing. It's a good poke. Look how far it goes. Definitely your longest poke. The only issue is the whiff animation is huge. So you can get hit by a lot of stuff if people just see it, like see you whiff it. But you can catch people slipping in neutral. Like let's say maybe Johnny even. You could throw it out every now and then to substitute for just running in and poking with far slash or 2D. And pin. Yeah, just make sure you add some more usage of your normals. 6H is the main one that I just don't see you really use. It's really good, versatile. It even gives you standing hit confirms on some characters like Johnny and Sin and stuff. So you can optimize your damage if they're standing, which is pretty cool. Outside of that though, like the offense, neutral, Bad Moon, and Meeting. I should mention something about bursting. Bursting is something that I think is tied to your aggressive playstyle. You burst usually when you get hit. So like this is an example of how you burst when I watch you. That's how you burst. Oh shit, Kai hit me with the far slash. Burst. And then they could potentially kill you for you bursting like that. Or if they do like a 2P you burst. If they do a DP you burst. Any random hit that could potentially turn the tide, you burst it. Luckily most of them hit, but a lot of them whiff. Like I've seen you burst a lot like that. I've seen you burst a lot like that. And I'm like, sometimes I can see that you want a gold burst because I've seen you'll be doing pressure. And when the opponent's trying to jump out, I saw you do this. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa. I've never seen someone do that except for like A3 Religion. If you know who that is, he's a gold burst monster, right? He wants the gold burst. It's very, very bad to do stuff like this. It can work out. I'm not saying it's something that can't work. It can work out. But the chances of it working out of 10 are so slim, and the resource that you lose is so large. If this does not work out as a gold burst that you're trying to get, then you're not getting that burst back for the rest of the round. And what happens if it whiffs? This is gonna be too low. I wonder if I can punish this. Nah, this is gold. Damn. Alright, we're gonna have to do it this way because I don't feel like we're recording it. Oh, I can't air throw it. Here we go. This is better. This is better. Yeah, you can get punished for it. The main punish to it is the resource that you lose, though. So if they did punish you, like with an air throw, you about to hold everything. You about to hold it all for the whole round, because you can no longer burst for the rest of the round. Even if it's a blue burst and not a gold burst that you're trying to get, if it's a single hit, like I mentioned, boy, if you're only bursting single hits, you might kill yourself. How much life that was? You gotta be careful. You need to figure out like when you want to burst. The main points you would want to burst are combos. Things that will result in a lot of damage. So like if a Kai hits with like a Greed Sever, maybe you want to burst somewhere in there. This is a concept that's really hard to grasp, and it will take a lot of experience. Some people may be able to gain it just from video knowledge, but for the most part, you will need the experience. Like, you need to actually get hit by combos and just try to burst and see what happens. You will find out when you want to burst in the combo, so that you can just have that set in stone. Oh, he does a DP here. I need a burst here because he can't do anything else. Portions where they cannot do anything but get hit unless they Roman cancel is where you want to burst in combos generally. So like Kai, if he hits with Greed Sever, you could burst ASAP. That's fine. Greed Sever bursting ASAP is okay. Bursting here is not necessarily fine. Bursting here is not fine because jump cancels, right? Yeah, Alma just said it. This is what I was about to mention. Even air normals can be scary to burst because you can OS air throws within the jump normal. Let me see. What's the number? It's 1, 2. Let's try 4. No, we could do 3. Let's do this in the corner. This would be easier for me. See, if you didn't burst here, I would have just OS throw anyways. I could do it twice. So it's like, yo, where do I burst? No one really does it like this. Like, you're probably not going to find someone that's playing this well, like to OS at a lot of points. Or even just bait by jump canceling and then blocking your burst. But this is important to know. Like, this is just like the understanding behind when you want to burst. It's not specifically DPs, but characters that do have DPs in their combos, those are fine points. So like Sin, most people, like if you watch a match video, they'll burst the DP in the combo because if they burst there, Sin can't do shit. He has to get hit by the burst unless he RCs. Same with Kai. If he does like the corner combo like this, if he does that route, you have to burst the DP. Otherwise, you're gonna get that shit baited. Damn, I just realized I'm not... I guess I can just record the psych burst. Yeah, I can't do anything here. But if I have meter, then I can punish. So it's like, it's a lot of stuff to like look into. It's very hard to grasp this concept. Like I mentioned, it's going to be something based off of experience. You can pick up stuff from videos. Like, you'll see a lot of people bursting at a certain spot. Like in a match video versus Leo, you'll see people... This is a good example. Let me just do this really quick. I need to pick Leo again anyways. Positions where people cannot cancel into anything else but Roman cancel to block is where you want to burst. So Leo, right? People always burst the last of the Rekka. Why? He cannot do anything else until he recovers. But if people burst the first hit of the Rekka, you probably see this a lot, huh? Leos will wait right here, because idiots will burst here and you can't. It will get baited. Even if they burst like this, the second hit. Did I record it right? I didn't. What? There we go. I'm tripping. See? So it's like, do I really want to burst here? No, you do not. You'll see most people burst there because it's guaranteed. There's nothing Leo can do. It's gonna work. So, for each character you fight, there's going to be similar portions to this. That they cannot do shit about. The burst is just going to work. Sometimes if you're about to die, like if you have like a pixel of health left, you may just have to chance it anyways and hope they don't bait it. Because you're going to die if you don't burst, right? In those situations, you may just have to opt for it. It becomes a mind game at that point sometimes. Unless they can just do a straight up burst safe combo. You really have to gamble. It's the mind game of burst or no burst, and yeah. But if you have a lot of life to deal with, then you really want to pick the points where it's guaranteed, if you can. Spots that are guaranteed for every character is bursting like side dust immediately. Because they have to go into the running state, right? You cannot block for a set amount of frames. So if they burst right there, like you gotta hold that. Unless you RC. So yeah. Just trying not to burst single hits. It's not something that's going to be too detrimental to you. If you get hit by something like this and you burst it, this is basically what you're doing. Like, you know Millia can only get like this. So why would you burst this over bursting a combo like a full conversion? You know? You got to think about it in terms of your health and your resource, what they can get in return. Yeah, like Alma says, if they use meter to bait your burst, they didn't get it for free, it's gonna hurt, but it wasn't free. True, but for characters like Millia and Chip, if they bait it, you might die, so it don't even matter. You gotta be careful. You gotta be super careful, but it also depends on the character you're fighting too. They might not do that much damage. So yeah, I mentioned burst, bad one from the top of the screen. For the most part, I'm not too worried about that. I think you've cleaned up on that more than anything that I've seen so far. You only did it like once. Meeting, doing Oki's MA better. You can watch match videos for that. Nakamura, Sharon, June. Using jump K when you're too close in throw range to bait people trying to air throw you. It'll keep them in place. Rather than just always going for the air dash mix up. Using meter properly. Did I mention this? I don't think I did. Did I? Maybe I didn't. I lost track. I kind of scattered around the board to whatever felt fit. But I'll go over it again anyways, really quick. I think I did, though. You waste, like, a lot of times, this is tied to, I don't think I did go over this. You usually play aggressive, right? But you don't play on the ground. So when you do play on the ground, you seem really passive, and you'll do stuff like this. I had mentioned this earlier. And I said there's alternates that you could do, like pin, air dashing in, which you do a lot, so I want you to try and just play on the ground a bit more. Try and whiff punish, or use a good poke like 6H. In range is where you feel like you can't just dash in. Just being okay with getting bar/5H. And the reason why you need to be comfortable with all this is because this will make your meter come into factor as well. If you don't rely on this as a crutch, let me take this off infinite. Oh, that's Psych Burst, my bad. Put it to 0. Or those the other way. Yeah, you could watch LK. I think I mentioned that as well. You'll see LK move exactly the same way. So, you see how you're gaining meter like this right now? It's looking pretty nice, ain't it? Look at that tension post. It's coming up real nice. Ooh, that's clean. Now notice that we're at the red. Once we YRC, watch how long it stays at orange. This is what you do every time you do the S-Disc YRC for no reason. You put yourself at a detriment to gaining meter for that long before you can start gaining it normally again. And that's if you get your offense back. If you lose your turn, it's going to be even slower. Because you don't gain it that quick on defense unless you instant block and stuff, right? If you use FD, you lose it even faster. You might even deplete your whole bar. So, keeping your meter for things that are more beneficial Not saying Estes YRC is bad. It's definitely good. It's just you need to make sure that you don't use it in spaces to try and cover up your neutral that is not necessarily great. If you want to engage and you're scared, use your barrier, faultless defense to stop yourself, watch the opponent, use your pokes, use your jump, use your pin. Whiff punishing. 2D. All good options. And since if you do keep your meter, you know, you're not wasting on the random Estes and neutral, then those times when you do actually get in and you're getting these random pokes, they actually convert. You're like, oh, now I can RC. Now I can RC. Now I can take him to the corner. So you can make the meter matter, and you don't put yourself at a penalty either. You get that shit back instantly. Look at that. I'm already back in action, baby. You're pretty much good to go. But that's usually only when it hits. If you fail to like make something happen out of it, then it looks really bad. Estes YRC is good though. It's good for like frame traps. Okay, sometimes uses it off of, I'm not really sure what. I think he'll use like Lush Shaker. What is it? Oh, it's S, my bad. He'll do Lush Shaker and then Estes YRC to get back in. There's some other frame traps he has, and I'm pretty sure other Millions use it as well. So just look into how they use it in their pressure. They don't just use it straight up. Sometimes they do just to like bait things. Like, oh, they backdashed. Maybe I can cancel it. Like stop the input like by slowing down the screen, or mess up a DP input by slowing down the screen. Those are fine. But it can also be used as a frame trap for if they're mashing and stuff. You don't always have to just use it as, oh, I need to get in. I'm scared. I'm gonna Estes YRC over here to get in. You can use it, just don't have it be your crutch. Don't let it be the only thing you use. You really need to learn how to use your movement without meter. Because if you don't, not only will you not be able to convert off the pokes that you do get when you do have meter, but you just won't know how to get in outside of jumping in, which is kind of how you play right now. So yeah, just learn how to manage meter. Try not to panic use, like do panic usage. Just YRCing just because it slows it down. Don't use it like that. Yeah, sometimes you don't even have to engage. You can just wait on your opponent. You can just anti-air. Oh, he gonna jump at me? Hey, 2H, 6P, 5P, jump P. Sometimes 5K is okay. Sometimes close slash is okay if they're right on top. Air throw. You got a bunch of options. Don't always rely on YRC. I think the last thing I want to mention is throw. Throw, right? Not on the offensive. Offensive throw is straightforward. You know when you want to do it. And I can tell when you want to do it as well. You be doing tick throws, you do like 2K. Bam. We got it. That's the classic with every character. In every fighting game. Button throw, tick throw. However, it's a whole different set of things when you're doing it on wake up. It is a reversal in this game, but only when in the proper position. So let's say against the Kai player you fought, a lot of the times you would just throw because they're really close to you. Characters like Leo could just blow you up instantly because they have throw invincible moves. So you cannot use that as an indicator. Them being close, you cannot use that as an indicator for throwing. Even if it worked before, it does not mean that you should be throwing here. It's like, this is something that you may see sometimes in match videos. Like, oh, you can throw there? No, you can't. It's very risky. Leo does the best way of explaining it by using invincibility to beat throws. You should not be throwing sometimes when you're point blank. The This is why his mix-up's annoying, because most people like to throw when people get crossed up like this. You throw right here, though, you'll get counter-hit. Why? Throw invincibility. Only a few characters have it in this game. But every character can blow up throws. It doesn't matter. Soul players do this all the time. They try to get you to flinch. So like something like this. Wait, let me just do 2 recordings. Okay. So, you got this. You can throw this, obviously. Because of spacing. If any move is not throw invincible, you can always throw it point blank. Do not get it twisted. It is a reversal. But it's so easy to blow it up. And since there's no actual throw animation in this game, you're throwing a button out every time you throw. Whether it's 6P, 6K, bar slash or close slash, 6H, 5H. One of them are going to come out. You're going to get one of them. Which means, if they step outside of the range where you can throw, you're going to get fucking hit. Because you're going to be trying to throw, but since you're not in the range to throw, you get the button. So even if they're close, don't let that be like an indicator like, oh, he's close, I can throw. They can always do something to negate that. This is just like a test right here. If a soul player did this to you, they'll be like, okay, he's doing this. Oh, the spacing's fucked up. I'm failing. I need to mash throw better. Come on. Chimone. There we go. And then you'll die. You know Millie will die. Dude, Soul's damage off of a counter hit 6P. That wasn't even a combo, really. That was like a... That was nothing. And that did like 70%, like 60%. Gotta be careful. Even mid-screen, you could get blown up for this type of stuff. Every character can do it. They have different ways to. Walking back is the simple way. Some characters or people will just jump cancel, so they'll do like... I'm failing this, the media on this. This might still hit. Wow. But you get the idea. I don't think I have to get a good recording on this. Probably be easier if I played Soul. But yeah, you can get hit there. I just can't get the timer right on this recording. But whatever. Just remember, being close is not an indicator to throw. However, if they're trying to like bait you into throwing, like let's say if Soul is doing this, like he's like, oh, I think he's gonna throw and wake up, you can capitalize, just air throw his stupid ass, right? I do this all the time because people think they're smart. I'm like one step above them. I'm like, hey, jump, little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna air throw your stupid ass. If they walk back, you can also backdash or try to jump sometimes rather than throw. You need to think about it on a different level. You can always do something else or just defend. It's kind of like RPS. If it's a like command grab character or someone trying to throw you. But if they're just mediating and they're point blank, blocking is not a bad thing at all. Backdashing may not be bad. Fuzzy jumping may not be bad. Overall, just try to stop throwing as much. There's situations where it will be guaranteed. Like, let's say if Soul did something like this. Let me see. This will be perfect. Let me take Psych Burst off. Put the meter back on. Something like this. Like, let's say if there's a move that doesn't recover until landing, like that. If he does Banner Revolver, he can't do shit. He has to wait till he hits the ground before he can act. Like, he starts recovering. It might have a little bit of landing recovery on that, but he cannot throw you here. He cannot DP or anything like this. Like, sometimes when you see people whiff stuff above you, they actually have to fall and cannot do anything. If they fall in front of you, throw them. Throw them. Because they will have to hold that. This is like an example of that. This is like one of the better times to throw. Or even as a punish sometimes, like this. This is a punish. Even if I try to DP here. He's too close. This is a legit punish. You cannot do shit here. Sometimes you will need a punish with it. Sometimes you will see them like with something above you and fall down, and you can punish them with that too. But on Wake Up, it's very risky. There's a lot of characters in this game that have ways to deal with it cleanly, and will get a lot of reward off of it if you do so. So just try to break that habit. You may not be running into people that are punishing you for it right now, but it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to start early with breaking this habit. Personally, when I played, I had this habit for probably like a year. It took me on my own jurisdiction to break this because I would play one person and he played Justice, and he would like set the missiles on me and walk up and back and do throw. So like he would do knockdown, walk in my face, sometimes even without the missiles, and just step backwards and meaty. And I would get countered every time, and I'm like, why am I getting hit? It's because I'm trying to throw, and you can't throw if he's spaced properly. And I would just lose my turn straight up just because of that. If I blocked, I would have probably got out. It's minor things like that that can change a whole lot of situations for you if you just like block instead or use another reversal rather than throw. Throw is really risky. Yeah. I think that's everything. I think I went over everything. Quick overview. One more time from the top. Bad move from the top of the screen, scrap it. Erase it from your mind completely. You're at like 99% of erase data on that. Don't be afraid to meaty. Air dash mix-up isn't always the best because it allows people to jump out sometimes and they may be able to disrespect your setups. So just make sure you meaty sometimes. Keep them in check. Don't be so aggressive. Make sure you're not trying to just always gold burst or burst the first hit. Try and just be patient. Put the stick down. Look at them. Take a break. Take a breather. You know, watch your opponent. Let them do their combo if they hit you. Burst when you feel like it's gonna do too much damage and you just want them off. You want to burst the right points, but right now you will not really understand it unless you get experience. So just try and burst only when you get hit by combos, not by pokes for now. Make sure you manage your meter properly, tied to your neutral. Don't always opt for the same thing where you just air dash in. Try to use pins sometimes, not only for just jumping in with pressure, but even to like with punish a button. Like if they're throwing buttons out trying to anti-air or poke at you, throw the pin. You stay on the ground, weave back and forth, r/5H. Don't rely on that S disc. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, I got the 50 meter? Ah. When you get knocked down, don't always mash on throw. Try to block first, see what happens. If they're getting really frisky and trying to just actually walk up on you and throw, maybe you can just fuck around and try and throw his ass if he's that stupid then. But otherwise, try not to do it just cause they're close. Use your normals more. Mainly 6H, really good. Pressure tool, solid poke. Has a bit of recovery, but it goes really far and it has 2 hits. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Regarding the setups, like I said earlier, try and just watch some more Nakamura, Sharon, and June videos. All of them are good. You could even watch, well, you probably can't watch Old Exit actually. Her setups are different. Just watch Rev 2. Try and replicate those setups. Make sure they're clean. The goal is just to find setups that let you pick up pin while the disc is falling down so that you can actually go for the high-low. You shouldn't have to back up, pick up the pin, and then go for the mix-up because it reduces the options of mix-ups that you have sometimes. Sometimes you will have to opt for it, but if you can find better ones, do so. Anything that's better is definitely better. That's as easy as saying, right? Hopefully this is helpful for you, Sterzz. This might be a long video, unfortunately, but there's quite a few topics to discuss. But yeah. If you have any more questions, you know you can hit me up on Twitter or Discord on the stream. And yeah, keep playing games, man. Keep it up.